Slave Manga back again with another YouTube video, and today we'll be covering Claymore. And so today in front of us, I actually have the box set presented, and I have the first 3 volumes out just to showcase some of the artwork and the beautiful story that is within this amazing box set. So, interesting enough, I actually heard about Claymore through a YouTuber named like Apollo or Apollyon or something like that. And he was probably like back 5, 10 years ago. It was a long, long time ago. But it was interesting because it was right around the time my friend was getting me into Berserk. And so it was actually within that same category of seinen. So not in the normal shonen realm that most of my collection is based around, but seinen. And once I got into seinen, I realized that it was actually pretty much where it's at. That I started growing in my seinen collection a little bit, and Claymore has always been pretty much near the tippy top. And one of the reasons for that is definitely it's a bit more fantasy based, and definitely has so much real world elements too. So it keeps it very kind of realistic and not too much outside of far fetched fiction, let's say. So, enough of my rambling. We'll get into the story and some of the beautiful panels that is in the story of Claymore. Go ahead and start with volume 1. And I feel like this is a good panel because it showcases some of the action that you could get in Claymore fighting these beasts called Yoma. And these Yoma would kill normal townsfolk, and you would have to have these mysterious women hired to kill said Yoma. And that is where we will begin our dialogue of what this story is about. In a world where monsters called Yoma prey on humans and live among them in disguise. So as you see, it could be your own family member and you never even knew. Humanity's only hope is a new breed of warrior known as Claymores, half human, half monster. These silver-eyed slayers possess supernatural strength, but are condemned to fight their savage impulses or lose their humanity completely. And so, it's very interesting because A, they are silver-dyed, and I don't think it was all the time. I think it was maybe only when they used their powers. I could be wrong, but I believe it was only when they used their powers because the Yoma, they disguise themselves as human most of the time. And when, as I just showed in the panel, the only noticeable differences would be sometimes the veins and your reptilian-like eyes. And as I said, Claymore, it's interesting because the main character is actually a female, and her name is Claire. She actually meets so many people along the way, but one of my favorite aspects of Claymore is not only like the awakenings that you'll get to see later on, and I don't want to spoil what that is, but there's these black men that whenever the villagers have to pay to get rid of the Yoma, the villagers didn't even pay the women directly. They just paid this men in black that would come and collect the debts of the village. So I found that so fascinating because I'm like, huh, these women literally just go out there, kill this monster, and at first reading, I didn't know that they had powers. So I was just kind of thinking, wow, there's these badass women that are just going out killing these monsters and not even getting paid for it. I was like, so why do they do it? They just good people? And no, they're not good people in my opinion. Most of the claymores, yes, they are women, but I don't think they're necessarily the most kind and oriented, women that most people think about. They're just a little bit sassy, as we come to expect that, especially in the modern world. And so I feel like even in the day and age that we live in, even though the story's maybe already 20 years old, it is still an amazing read, and maybe watch the anime if you're interested, but you just have to know that it was definitely created in an older time, so not as many bright colors and some of the elaborate artworks. demonstrations that you could see today, especially with modern manga adaptations. So it is really amazing to actually see over time the amount of dedication that teams have put in to anime and manga as a whole, and how much it's even grown here in the United States over time, you know? Um, so, get back on topic about Claymore. It has, I just want to check again. I want to say it's 24 volumes, 27 volumes out of the whole series. And I think it's definitely worth the investment. Um, Not only because of the seinen aspect of it. So when I mean seinen, I just mean that you're going to come across a lot more blood and kind of gory scenery than you would in normal shonen manga, where people get hurt or potentially even killed in some cases, but never really die. As you see, they could just kind of brush off the injury or drink milk, like in One Piece, and just fix all your bones and stuff. So, it doesn't have as many of the kind of quirky healing as you do in shonen. A lot of the times when you see people get brutally harmed, they are brutally harmed, and it definitely takes some time to recover. And so I actually kind of appreciate that about seinen, just because sometimes when you see a main character get down and out, it actually does take time for them to recover, and so next time they get into a fight, they could actually be not as good as they were. Especially some examples of that in Berserk, but you could see even some examples of that here in the series Claymore. Some other interesting notes about Claymore. Um, Claire gets a companion, and it's actually like a little boy from the first village that she saved, and he his name is Rocky, and he ends up pretty much following her to like the end of the series, more or less. So it's definitely a companion that's noteworthy. And interesting enough, I don't think that the Claymore age, because as I stated, Rocky is pretty much with her the whole entire time, and Rocky does age. So with him growing older and getting bigger and stuff like that, I mean, sure, I could assume that it was just him being a kid and him kind of just growing up. But I mean, he grew up like it looked like over several years, and Claire and the other Claymore didn't appear to age at all. So it's interesting to think if they are partially immortal to some degree, or they just don't age like normal humans. And some of the side notes about like what are the special abilities that claymores can do. Interesting enough, they each have their own unique ability, but they are all pretty much guaranteed like a little bit super strength, super speed, stuff like that that you would kind of guess that would be in a normal kind of battle oriented manga a little bit. It's not full battle. I mean, you have some pretty great story and character connections and character buildup with some of the main people that you will see throughout Claymore. And I think we'll wrap up, I feel like, with final thoughts and price range, stuff like that. And I hope I convinced you enough to go check it out, whether you watch it or read it. And yeah, I think I priced my Claymore box set for around like 120 bucks, if not less. And I thought it was like a steal because now some box sets can be hard to come by, like the Full Metal Alchemist box set or some of the older box sets that never got reprinted. There's like this one box set that looked really cool. It had like chests and stuff like that. It was like Pandora hearts, maybe. I could be completely wrong. But there are a lot of cool box sets out there to get your hands on if you are interested. I would definitely advise being interested in the series beforehand, even just a little bit, before you spend, your money on it during these hard economic times as well. But some are doing good and some are doing a little rough. I wish the best for each and every one of you out there. And I feel like final closing thoughts that I would give Claymore an overall score of probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. And the reason I more rate it towards like 6 is because story could have been a bit better. It's decently battle oriented, as I stated earlier. So you can find a lot of fight scenes, and so it can make reading it feel very fast paced. And so I actually like that to a degree. But in some instances, um, it can make it feel like a little less nuanced story wise. And character development, characters could have been a bit better. But some people really do shine in the story, and I say Claire specifically. I mean, she's obviously main character, but she has like a really beautiful backstory. Like, I might have actually shed a tear for it. I doubt it, but no, oof. It's actually, no, I probably did. Because I personally thought it was really, really clever how they did the backstory, and they didn't reveal it all in the beginning. That they actually do it kind of throughout the story in bits and pieces, and then maybe you get the full story later on. And so, very well thought out on that part. And when it comes to main enemies and stuff like that, yeah, could have been better, could have been worse, but definitely well thought out and well designed. Stuff like that artistically. Very unique, especially within the fantasy seinen genre. And overall, I feel like it's definitely worth the pickup. And I feel like we'll end it off here. We appreciate the watch, and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll see you around. East Slave Manga, back in with another YouTube video, and we'll see you next time.